Notts County Talk, we are live for episode 49 of Pavis Perspective podcast. As you can see, we're delighted this season to again be sponsored by Better Bytes Computers, a Notts County fan-owned computer shop in Mapley. Done some great work with them, giving away a laptop, didn't we, George, last season with them, and just really helps us to produce the content that we produce. I mean, we're live on right now using one of those laptops, so obviously, as you saw, there were some discount codes there at the start, and if you could support them, the link will be in the description at the end of the video. So massively appreciate that and excited to be working with them again. George, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Dog's teething at the minute, so everything's being chewed up, including
Not
my
fan
teeth.
yet. Not fan
teeth.
yet, or
my feet. No, not yet, not yet.
Dog's chewing your teeth.
I meant to say feet. Easy mistake to make. Easy mistake to make.
Welcome to everyone that's joined us. Alan, Ian, Callum, Max, Ellie, Chris, Shane, Elvis. If I've forgotten anyone, I apologise, but really, really great to have you with us. And also, if you're listening back on Spotify, a reminder that we are there on Spotify, and that is up on that streaming app from about an hour after we finish here.
Yep.
Plenty to talk about tonight, George.
Loads.
Plenty. But first of all, Ian says, what breed of dog?
What breed of dog? English Bulldog.
There you go, English Bulldog. I've met her. Lovely Bulldog.
Top dog.
Lovely Bulldog. Is there a 50th celebration episode coming up next week? We haven't really thought about it. What would you like us to do? What would you like us to do for that?
Tom actually discussed this with me the other day and said that he was going to do a dance.
That's not happening anymore. It's that's been delayed to the 100th episode.
Oh, fair enough. Was the robot, is it? Or
yeah, the robot. That's it.
Nice.
So, George, obviously there's an awful lot to talk about.
Yeah.
A lot's happened on social media. A lot's happened during the game. I think, where would you like to start? Would you like to start by talking about the Chesterfield game?
Yeah.
And then go on to after that. So give me your thoughts on the Chesterfield game. Because we were sat together and I don't know. I actually don't know. Do we have the same opinions on that game? We spoke about it after the game, but do we have the same opinions?
Yeah, I think so. On the grand scheme of things, I think we saw the game very similarly. And yeah, I thought everyone seemed to disagree with what you said. So I'm sure everyone's going to disagree with what we're saying because I think we both have a similar opinion. I thought the first half we controlled possession fairly well. We just didn't do enough in the final third, which, it is frustrating. 100% it's frustrating, but it's against a difficult side. And, they, kind of against the run of play, in my opinion, get a goal in the first half. So I can understand that frustration. I can. But we were the better team in the first half. We were.
We were talking about it. What do you think about the goal? Because they scored from a very, very similar position the week before. What do you think about the goal?
I mean, I know it sounds like just like a boring answer, but unfortunately it happens. Do you know what I mean? It just does. You can prepare as much as you want, but in that moment you need everyone to be on the ball and thinking about what they've practiced in training and what they've talked about in training. And football just doesn't work like that. You can be being dragged left, right, and centre. It's difficult. So, it is disappointing. And I think, it's a well taken goal. It's right in the corner. There's not a lot Slocum can do. His reactions were a little bit slow. Like he does seem to dive fairly late. Like the ball's nearly gone past him and he just starts his dive. But there's not a lot he can do anyway.
No.
It is an annoying way to concede a goal. But we're at the point in the season now where we can take from it and learn. You can only learn from mistakes like that. You've seen it. It's happened to Notts now. You can address it and then really dig in and say what players can do in particular to prevent it from happening going forward.
Yeah. I watched the first half and I thought we started really well. I really did think we started well. And then we had I think we sat with Ryan, weren't we? And I think Ryan's came on. The only time he's been on the channel was after the playoff defeat to Harrogate. The only time he's been on the channel. And he didn't get as many games last season, but he's coming to pretty much every game this season, isn't he? Or roughly.
He wants to, yeah.
So I said to him, because he didn't come all last season, I said, this is what happens. I said, if it's the same as last season, this is what happens. We start well and they'll score with their first attack. 30 seconds later, they scored. And then I thought then they didn't really trouble us. They just troubled us on the break. That's all they really did. And we were one pass away or releasing the ball 30 seconds earlier from being in.
Yeah.
Luke Williams said it in his presser. I don't know if you've heard it. He said they could have been out of sight. It was literally 80% from being, if it sounds strange, if getting it right is 100%, so you score a goal, you've got it right 100%, we're 80%, we're almost there. We just had to do a couple of things. I thought we put the ball in the box lots. Williams said 9 times in the first 15 minutes or so. And then half-time comes, and we've got to talk about this. There were a few boos. I'm not going to say the whole stadium booed. Definitely not. There were a few boos. What were your thoughts on that?
I didn't agree with it. I wasn't booing. But I just feel like I can understand it. I was frustrated in that first half, but it's not because we played poorly. We weren't awful. Like, I thought we were all right in the first half. I think it's just frustrating because it does sort of feel like similar problems where we control possession, we get in good positions, but then we just don't have that final product. But that was just the first half. The second half was completely different, complete contrast. And what Luke Williams has come out and said is great. And I think we do need to demand better to some extent. That first half, we control possession, but we need to be putting things away. And the second half, there was a reaction to that, I think. And I think essentially that's why I think things get said. Do you know what I mean? Like that, and it's kind of like what Luke Williams has said again. There's a reaction and there's a reaction. It's going to happen. But I feel like the players' performance in the second half was a reaction maybe to that at halftime. And that's what fans are there to do, As much as you should be like everyone, it's in an ideal world, you want your fans to get behind your team no matter what. It is difficult, we have had the worst run in the last few years in our history. It's just been it's gone from bad to worse, hasn't it? But I mean, this last few years, you've seen that steady rebuild, and the way we've crashed out of the playoffs 3 seasons on the trot, it's been brutal. It really has. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult. I'm neither here nor there, and I don't like to be one of those person that sits on the fence. But I can understand the arguments for booing and the arguments against people that are dead against it. Do you know what I mean?
I haven't ever booed Notts, even when it's got bad. Mainly because when we're losing, I just can't be bothered.
Relegation season, you definitely booed Notts.
I don't think I did.
Exeter at home.
I'm probably thinking it in my head, but after losing Exeter at home or whatever it was, I probably don't have the energy to boo. I was probably thinking it in my head, but I'm not saying but when we've booed after games like that, I don't care. Like the fans are fully entitled, as they are anyway.
Yeah.
I just felt that after the Chesterfield one, four games into the season was a bit premature, but I understand exactly what you're saying. And someone said it here. Can we address what Luke Williams has said? That's a fantastic answer, isn't it, to the question he was posed? Emotions spill over, and what we've got to understand from both sides is that emotions spill over differently for different fans. Like the way I will express it is different to the way you'll express it. The way you express it is different to how people in the chat will express disappointment. So yeah, I think it's one of those where, because it's Notts and we all love Notts and it's a sensitive situation, people react in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I'd have liked to have been left there. I won't go into too much private messaging players, whether the players technically asked for it. Chris is booing us. Chris is booing us here, look. Booing is in the chat. I'm well with that because I know he's booing you.
Fair enough.
I know Jim O'Brien's asked to be messaged. He's literally asking to be messaged, but it's kind of a statement rather than a question, isn't it? Saying that for me is too far. But then he's asked for it, so yeah. I don't think Jim O'Brien's performance was like he's put a lot of work into Notts for years and years and years. Stuck with us, played really well in some games. So I just feel hard done by. Like he's not a late. Do you know what? If he'd have come off the pitch and he was lazy and just out of completely agreed. If he'd not put effort in, or he wasn't tracking back, or he was letting people run past him, or moaning at other players, I wouldn't have been happy. But yeah, I don't. That's the part I really didn't like. But I do feel like Luke Williams' press conference is sort of in one 2-minute clip has almost corrected everything.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think he really did. I thought it was a really good interview, and it just sort of, to me, showed that he wasn't phased by it, and I think that's really good. I think it's good to absorb what's happening, address it, but you can tell that he's one of them people that probably doesn't let his emotions get the better of him in those, situations, which it can be really difficult, I think, to control the way you're thinking and what you're going to do in the next moment. And I don't like to use old managers as a reference point, but I think Birchall did let that happen a few times. Was it Halifax away where he was like squaring up to the coach on the pitch and stuff? And
he'd lost his head. It's the first time I've ever seen it. He completely lost his head.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have expected it from him, but I just feel like Luke is different from that interview. I get he's a bit different in that way. He can control his emotions a bit better. And no, I agree. It was really well put, and he kind of, like you said, brought both sides together really well.
If you're in the dressing room as a player and you've just come off and you've been booed, and you had, like you just mentioned, I don't know what was said in the dressing room last year, but you have a manager that comes in and says, like, starts moaning about being booed, or you have a manager that comes in and says, look, suck it up. You're a footballer. Like, that's what you're going to get. Go out and do it second half. That's so much better for the dressing room. And look what happened. I do feel like Notts in the past few seasons would have gone 2 down, and that was game over. And then especially when they missed, Langstaff missed his first opportunity. In my head, I thought there's the opportunity gone. In previous seasons, you miss a one-on-one, you're not getting many more chances in this Notts side. So the way that we then fought back, and it's crazy, isn't it? Because I'm not saying the first half was good. I just didn't think it was as bad as people were saying. I was disappointed. In a way, I was disappointed to come away without winning. Because I don't know if you've seen the chance from Langstaff, it was facing the cop, so you could see it square on from the goal. When he's about to put it in, the keeper's dive past it. If it's blocked, if it's not blocked, it's a hat-trick and it's 3-2 and Notts gone to win the game. So, yeah, like, I feel very mixed emotions. Fantastic point from 2-0 down. But imagine if we'd have won that. Medellin, the roof would have come off Medellin. A hat-trick for Langstaff. He would have been a new court hero. Silenced Chesterfield fans. Because we were walking to the game, weren't we? And Chesterfield fans, a group of like 14, stopped us. We had Jake Bug on the front of our shirt. Told us our music was expletive from Nottingham.
Yeah.
Told us they were going to win 4-0.
I got abused for my hairline as well. Like,
I think your hairline's really nice. I've cut it, don't I?
You don't?
I've cut it before.
I wouldn't say I've got a bad hairline.
And I just sat there when the second goal went in, and I thought, well, yeah, I felt a bit smug after that. But I think Luke Williams was growing into the role massively, and I think the players respect him. I think the players will completely respect him. So, but on that, both sides of the story, now the dust has settled, and the way Luke Williams has handled it, like, it could have been anarchy. If Luke Williams had come out and said, don't boo my players, it could have been anarchy. I feel like everyone's going to Halifax now.
It literally could have been curtains.
Yeah. Halifax, literally up here. Like, the fans are going to be up here. People are tweeting and putting on social media things like, let's go to Halifax and make all that noise and let's get behind them. And all of a sudden, we're all back together, aren't we? So football's crazy. When I saw the Connor Rawlinson tweet, I was thinking, how have we got to this stage where a player's putting a statement out from his iPhone notes? And I went to bed really downbeat, if I'm honest. And I thought, I don't know where this season's going to go, but we're all back together now. We're massively on it. Callum says, have you seen the Chesterfield fan video? No, I haven't seen the Chesterfield fan video.
I have. It's for our second goal. It's just funny. Like, it's just like their reaction to us scoring our second. It's funny.
Will you send it?
It's on Twitter. I've seen it. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I've just seen the clip of when they score. We score our second goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? As well, the noise was brilliant. The noise was like when the second one goes in. Have you seen where they put the two clips close together? It's like whereas the the commentators say they're a minute and 3 seconds from the subs coming on, and then all of a sudden Meadow Lane just erupts when we get forward for that second one. So yeah, massively impressed. Let me just draw your attention to our poll question. So it's sort of market research for us tonight. We want to know what part of our content you enjoy the most. Now, I suspect we might see something win because you're watching the Pavis perspective. But the options are player ratings, matchday vlog, fan chats, or Pavis perspective. So Callum says he'll find it. Please send it me. So yeah, if you could have a vote on which you prefer, it's just a little bit of market research for us to help us know what our audience likes. So yeah, if you could vote on that. This is the first poll we're not going to be voting on, isn't it, George?
Oh, I've voted.
Have you voted?
I've voted, yeah.
Shut the channel down. I'm voting then.
No, I voted. I'm going to vote in terms of what I enjoy making the most.
Oh, fair enough. What you enjoy making the most. We'll get to that at the end then. Yeah, this has become like a ritual on a Thursday night, hasn't it? It really has become like Thursday night is the Pavis perspective night for me and you.
Yeah, I love it. Back at it.
Yeah. Final thing about that game then, I'll go to this. Max says, thoughts on BT commentary. I don't understand how Virgo still has a job. The man hates Notts with a passion. Don't think he really likes Chesterfield either. I don't know. I haven't even watched it back.
Yeah, I'm not really phased. As annoying as it is, I mean, you just gotta let it go, man.
Someone told me the other week, I don't know how true this is, that they put the highlights show on BT after the first week or second week of fixtures, and there wasn't the Solihull game was missing. There was another game missing. What's the point? I don't even think they're letting our local East Midlands TV have any of the goals either. So forget it. Yeah. And Virgo's pre-match tweet was embarrassing. Yeah, you've been sucked in at that point, haven't you, when you're tweeting that? You've been completely sucked in. Let people have their opinions when you're in that position. Don't talk about it. George, signings now. Signings are on the agenda. Goalkeeper, under 20s, 20-year-old from Leicester, played against us in the friendly. We'll start with that. Is he coming in? I think it's Brad Young. Is he coming in to be first team, to seriously challenge Slocum, or to just allow Tiernan Brooks to go out on
loan? I think if we're honest, it's probably a bit of a combination of the three. I don't think he's going to be really challenging Slocum, but I think it's good to have someone there to push him just in case. Slocum is a professional and he won't come off the boil, but I think it's always good to have that someone behind you. Slocum said in his interview today, he's 34 now. He realizes he's at the later stages of his career and things like that. So there are going to be younger people from below him wanting to come through. So, like I said before, if the player's better and we get a better yield from that player, play him. There's no sentiment for me anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I spoke about this when I was on with Will or Matt, and people just completely backed it up and said, sentiment's got to go. Like, we've just got to. Oh, Chris says he didn't play against us. I thought he did play against us. Possibly not. I thought I saw Luke Williams mention that he liked the look of him. Maybe not. But yeah, the sentiment's got to go. The best players to do the job. I think we've got Slocum now for the season.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to allow Brooks to go out on loan. We've got a good backup. That backup will play in the trophy in the FA Cup. And I think we'll just leave it at that. I think Slocum's okay. Very good shot stopper, obviously. It's just a distribution, but can that be worked on? When you're 34 years old, can you it's a fact you don't learn as well the older you get, do you? So are you going to adjust the 34-year-old's game to become very good at passing?
It's got
I don't think it has got better, but is it drastically better? And I don't think Luke Williams sees this as a massive issue, because you look at people like Pep Guardiola, the first thing he did when he realised Joe Hart wasn't up to it was rip Joe Hart out of the team. Effectively ended his career, pretty much. I know he's at Celtic now, but he went for a long time without a very good career. I feel like the way we play, if it was a massive issue, that would have been the first thing tackled. I don't think you'd have let it get to coming up to the fifth game in this season and still have this problem. So
I think we were spoiled a bit last season as well, Pato,
Yeah. We had a championship level keeper in
Yeah,
the National
literally,
League.
yeah, literally.
He was he was very, very good. Very good. And Yaros, to some extent, he had his flaws, but the Stockport game sticks in my mind. That gives me hope for loan signings, though, because I think last season we got loan signings very, very right. Very right.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Pato in. We got Richardson, who divided opinion, but let's be honest, for a loan signing, he was very good and he was first choice. Kept doing Kelly Evans out the side. Am I missing any loan signings?
Yeah.
Possibly. Remind me if I am in the chat. So, yeah, a couple of signings. And then it's just come up. You don't think it is. I think it is. Adi Youssef apparently has been spotted. Are you not thinking it's Adi Youssef on that picture?
No, I mean, I don't know. I think it's more. I'm hoping it isn't because I don't really see why. Do you know what I mean?
Arter and Brunt as well. Maybe not. Why don't you want Adi Youssef? What's your reason? If it is him,
I mean,
pretty sure it's him.
may I don't know.
Do we need him?
That's why I don't really think we do. He's a striker, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Shall I read you through his stats quickly?
Read me through his stats, yeah.
Let's go from the 18-19 season. 46 appearances, 14 goals. 19-20 season, 13 appearances, no goals. 2021 season, this is Wrexham and Chesterfield combined. 26 appearances, 8 goals. And then last season, 35 appearances, 5 goals for Yeovil. Not great, not been fantastic since the 18-19 season. Then he was at St. Joseph's in Gibraltar. Hasn't really played. So it is a really, really strange one. I don't think we need another striker at all.
I don't. And like you say, it's a strange signing because, I mean, obviously it's more intricately looking into his stats, but those stats aren't great. Like, how old is he?
29.
29, yeah. I don't know. Like, is there a plan with Kyra Mitchell there if we're bringing in another striker? I'm not sure.
Or is it that we're going to definitely go 2 up top when Scott's fit and you want? Because then, if you are at the minute, we're 1 up top, aren't we? With 3 strikers. And all of a sudden, if you go 2 up top with 3 strikers, you're really short. And then you've got to change the plan. I would argue we still have Luther. And I want to talk about Luther a little bit later. Ian says, I'd like to have a striker different to what we have, a big target man. Jordan's agreed with me. If he's going to switch to 2 up top, we might need more cover. Callum says Mitchell's becoming informed now, and we have Langstaff, and Ruben's got a fair few goals. So it's an interesting one. May all depend on Scott's fitness. I think Scott's almost there, or if not now, I think he's pretty much ready.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he's ready now. If I'm being completely honest. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with him. Whether he will sign. I mean, he's training with us. There is another person training with us, and if I was following it on Twitter, and I haven't actually seen anyone put a name to the face yet. So if anyone has seen an updated version on Twitter where we can actually see who it is, then let us know. But I'm hoping it's a central midfielder. So yeah, it's interesting. Right, Halifax and Solihull. Last season, 2 playoff teams. This season, a team in great form, come from 3-0 down to win 4-3 away from home, and one team that have not scored a goal. Halifax.
Notts County, though, isn't it?
It is Notts County. These games worry me. You've known since we started the Pavis Perspective 49 episodes ago. Whenever we play a team down there, Kings Lynn worried me for a bit. Dover worried me. A team that hasn't scored and hasn't won, obviously. You don't go 5 games without scoring a goal, surely. I mean, this isn't Dover from last year. This is Halifax, who have lost their manager and striker, but have still got some good players.
Yeah.
So that just bugs me that you don't go 5 games without scoring a goal. Saying that, it's an absolute must-win.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's a funny one, isn't it? Because it does for me add pressure.
Yeah, it does. But Williams has said we've got to deal with pressure. That's the game.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But I don't know. I'm with you on it. I just feel like like that has to come to an end. 6 games without scoring. You can just see it now, can't you?
Yeah, and that does worry me, because that's as bad a start to the season as you're going to get. It's just an awful start to the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if Notts were in that position now, imagine what we'd be feeling. Bottom of the league without scoring after signing Langstaff and Scott. Now, I know they haven't signed strikers of that quality.
Yeah.
But we'd be in meltdown mode. And we're very positive fans, but even I wouldn't be able to be positive at that point. I think the only time I've really been very negative was, do you remember when Birchnell came in? He lost like 6 of 9 or something ridiculous like that. That's the last time. So
that could happen, and we'd still predict wins in the Pavis perspective.
Yeah. So Halifax does worry me a little bit, not for the fact that I don't think we can outplay them, because I think we can. But I feel like teams like that haven't scored, haven't got a win, if they get 1 goal, they'll defend it for their lives because they can cling on to it. And then 48 hours later, George, we play Solihull.
Yes.
Another very tricky game, but we're at home. Which of those 2 games, it sounds strange to say, the side at the bottom of the league or Solihull, which of those 2 games do you think is the toughest? You might say Solihull, but which do you think is the toughest?
Ooh. I think Solihull, because I don't know, actually. It's difficult.
Because Mead Lane's been incredibly good. I think we're coming up to 40 competitive games at Mead Lane without failing to score. And I know people say you've jinxed it now, but I've said it many times. I've tweeted it many times, and we still score.
Yeah. So I think one thing that's in Notts' favour massively for these next couple of games, obviously you've got Halifax, who are, they're struggling. And with what's happened in the last week with Notts, I think we're going to see a galvanised squad and fan base combined. And I think that could really shine through at Halifax. And then into Solihull on Monday, I think it could do the same. Because you're at home, there's more fans there to sort of rejoice with the players. So for me, I think it's difficult to pick. It is difficult to pick. What would you say?
Halifax is a tougher game, I think. After what's gone on this week, want to see a reaction. We also need the win, because we've drawn 3 straight games now. So I do think we'll need a win. Solihull will be really difficult. Of course it will. But Solihull also went 3-0 down to Scunthorpe, who are in a really big mess. Big mess. And I feel like last year beat Solihull at home. Away from home, they scored we weren't in the best form, and they had to rely on a very, very good 25-30 yard strike to level it, or we would have won again. They can see 3 to Scunthorpe. If Notts were 3-0 up against Solihull at home, this is something I don't want to jinx. I can't see Solihull scoring 4 and winning. The fact they've conceded 3 to Scunthorpe, I don't think that's got to be a concern. I mean, if I was sat here doing a Solihull podcast, I'd be concerned at that. Even though you've won 4-3, you've got to look at why you've conceded 3 and 3 goals in that quick succession in the first half. Solihull's going to be really difficult, but I think Halifax is the one we've got to win. If we win the Halifax game, it takes the pressure off the Solihull one as well. So, and yeah, like Andrew says, Halifax are in a false position. They're not a bottom of the league side, are they? Some people have got them for playoffs, even though they've lost the players. I don't think I had them for playoffs, but
I don't know. Like what's really going on there? Do you know what I mean? I'd say their fan base is pretty on the backs. I'd say it's pretty bad at the minute. Say they've not scored. Is it really a false position?
We could hear some boos from the home end on Saturday. Could definitely. I'm still traumatized from the last time we played at the Shea. The worst result in recent years, in terms of not in terms of outcome, because we've had worse results where we've been relegated.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely shocking. So I think that's going to be difficult. I do think it's going to be difficult. Do you have any concerns? I know it's the same for everyone. Do you have any concerns, or are you very confident? Because I think we've got a good squad depth at the minute. Do you?
Yeah.
Because the bench is as strong as it's ever looked.
Yeah.
What was the bench on Saturday? Bajrami, Francis, Scott, Austin,
Yeah.
and I was about to say Vincent, but it's definitely not Vincent. Was it Taylor?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, it was. It was Taylor.
That's as strong as we're going to get. I mean, we were having seasons with. We started the season with the other year with very weak bench. So back to my question: how do you feel with 2 games in 48 hours? Because it's the same for everyone. Do you feel like this year it's good for us? Because I think they're 2 difficult games in 48 hours.
Yeah, I think it definitely can be, and I think in terms of the players' welfare as well, they've not had a tough schedule of it yet, have they?
No.
They've had a few break. They've had a break this week as well. Between we've not had any midweek games, put it that way. So,
well, we had Gateshead midweek, wasn't it?
No, I mean this week.
Oh, fair enough. I'll shut up.
Yeah, thank you. No, but yeah. So I think we'll be fairly well rested and ready for the game. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel we're in a really good position with this squad. And I like how honest Luke Williams was, because he literally said, when asked the question, he said, I don't know how we're going to react to 2 games in 48 hours. He said, I haven't got a plan yet. He said, the plan comes after Halifax. And that's really good, because we don't want to look too far forward. As fans, I look really far forward. I think how many points you're going to get in the next 5-10 games. But Luke Williams focused on Halifax. Do you think there will be wholesale changes? I think there'll be a fair few.
I think it'll be for me. You have to start Austin.
In both.
Depends if he can do both. Put him in both.
Because he played what, 30 with added time, 35 minutes on Saturday. He should be fit enough.
Oh yeah, has to be.
I would say so.
I think Scott's chomping at the bit as well. You could see it like he's raring to go on Saturday. So
I'd be
like.
Go on. I'd be gobsmacked if he doesn't start one of the two.
Exactly.
One of the two. And I don't feel like there's anyone at this point that needs a rest yet either. Like you said, we've not had massive amount of games. It's only 24 hours.
Maybe Baldwin.
Yeah, but he's been training. He was in training, and he's in the video. I've seen him. I've seen him in the video. And also the formation, because if Scott is fit, are we going to see a 5 at the back, or are we going to see a 4? That's the question. So Chris says, got to put our strongest 11 out against Halifax and then regroup. 100%. Yeah. You can't bank on the second game. Can't bank on the second game. David says he wants 6 points from 2 games. If we got 6 points, the start to the season is fantastic. What would that be, George? That would be 12 points, wouldn't it? That would be 12 points. Yeah, we're at 6, aren't we?
Yeah, sorry, yeah,
12
points.
12 points from 6 games. And then what? That's you're averaging 2 a game. And that isn't that what you need to be right up there at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then there is a slightly easier, well, this league's not easy, but an easier fixture list coming up after that.
Yeah.
Andrew says, I think we need 6 points from this weekend. We'll just about be satisfied before. I would be satisfied before to remain unbeaten, definitely. Yeah. I do feel like if we got 6 points this weekend or 4 points, I feel like we'd be possibly the only team left unbeaten. Might be another one with us. So yeah, really, really interesting. We'll go on to our team news now, George. And it's not like when we do a normal Pavis perspective for a Saturday, Tuesday, and we sort of say we might swap a couple of people out. We'll have to look a little bit more in depth because it is only 48 hours. So we'll go for the Halifax game then. What are you feeling formation-wise?
I don't know. I am really struggling with formation. I mean, for me personally, I'd probably lean towards 4 because I feel like as soon as we can get the 4 at the back going, I think that'll be it. So you know what, I'm gonna go 4.
I'm going to go 4 as well. I think it's crazy. I think the whole formation hinges on Scott.
Yeah.
But then you've got Gateshead fans telling us Langstaff was better out wide. But then we could be playing a 4-3-3. So
from what I've seen, Langstaff is perfectly fine down the middle.
Oh yeah, 100%. Langstaff, just that instinctive first goal is really good. But I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go 4.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper, Slocum,
yeah.
Okay. Back four then, George. Go from left to right.
Chickson. Cameron.
Yeah.
Baldwin, if fit. And then Brindley right back.
Now, he doesn't fancy Adebayo Rolling, I don't think. Or even if he does, he's not going to play this week. Yeah, he's not going to play yet, I don't think. I think going to a back four sorts all those problems. Because Nemain had a decent first half on Saturday. Second half, nowhere near the standard we expected. Good pass through for the second goal, though. So I think that sorts it all out. Brindley at right back, definitely. If you'd say could Brindley at right back be a player in a position to win the league, yeah, Brindley at right back, definitely. He'd be top class at right back. I'd go Slocum. I'd go the same back four as you.
Cool.
Exactly the same back four. Midfield three then. What are you saying?
Matty Palmer in the middle. Bajrami.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it a 2 in front of the 4 with those 2.
Okay. I'm going Bajrami, Palmer, Austin. Bajrami and Palmer.
I think we're going to have exactly the same team.
A little bit further forward. Yeah. And then finish off.
I was going to go Austin and Ruben, sort of a bit wider in front of those 2. And then Scott and Langstaff up top.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ruben a little bit more central, I think. And then Scott and Langstaff up top. And if he does want to make it a 4-3-3, you could have Ruben and Langstaff sort of narrower forwards behind Scott. And then what from that would you change for, or do you see changing? Someone's made a really good point in the chat that if Scott he won't start both, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense.
What would you go for then? Solihull at home.
Probably just go Mitchell instead.
Is that and keep the team the same?
Yeah.
I think we'll probably see one of the midfielders swapped out, possibly Ed Francis coming in. Yeah. And I think you might see Taylor come in for Chickson for one of them. And then Cairo for Scott, I think.
You know the thing with that as well, like I've just read in the chat someone mentioned Nemain, and I feel bad for leaving Nemain out because I think he's class. But I just find it difficult to squeeze him into the squad.
Do you know what I see Nemain as, though? I see him as someone that's not going to moan and kick up a fuss. And I see him as someone, if you're playing a 4-3-3, imagine playing a 4-3-3 and you bring Nemain on with 25 minutes to go. He'd stretch teams like mad.
Yeah. Backline's not crying.
They would. But imagine that. You're 1-0 up or 2-0 up, and then they start pressing on you and you've got Aaron Nemain to deal with. Because I think his end product has improved. I think his crossing's okay. He's pretty decent. He's getting past players now. And if you've got a tiring fullback and Aaron Nemain's coming on against you, shattered. The question is, as Max has put it in the chat, Jim O'Brien, he'll still want to play? And Luke Williams is the kind of person I could see putting Jim O'Brien in the team to play through
to make a point.
What's happened. Yeah. But
yeah.
To also give Jim O'Brien the confidence.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think he needs it. I think if anything, you've got to be a little bit frustrated with Jim O'Brien if you Luke Williams, because he's not helped the situation, has he?
No, a player that's a pro as well.
Yeah. So will he be sort of not punished, but maybe left out to sort of make a point? Will he be brought in to make a point? It could literally go either way, couldn't it?
I've said that. I also feel like Luke Williams is the kind of person that plays for the best team for that game. Like, I don't actually know if he's the kind of person that will play someone just to make a point. I don't think he has time for that. I think he just has time to get the wins. So, Chris says, don't pit players to prove point, pit players to help us win. Yeah. So I kind of feel like he's that kind of person.
True.
So we put the poll out. Which of our content did you enjoy the most? We can see the results from this. We'll have a look at the results. It helps us to decide what we're going to film, when we're going to film it. So that's really useful for us. George, what did you vote for as your favourite to produce and film?
I'll tell you this, and this is cliche, but I actually really enjoy making all of our content. There's not a content I
Obviously,
think,
yeah.
oh, I really enjoy play. It was for me, it was between player ratings and Pavis perspective because I really enjoy doing player ratings. But Pavis perspective has to take it for me because I think it's because of the interaction and people have said it. That's why they voted for it as well. But the interacting with the fans live and you feel like you're actually talking to your audience. Where like a lot of the videos we do are pre-recorded. It doesn't so much feel like that because this is literally live. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I like them all. Big fan of fan chats because it's straight after the game and it's a raw opinion of the fans.
Vlogs are good as well. I enjoy like orchestrating the vlogs and thinking about what we're going to do beforehand and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is good. It's all good. But it helps us out. Pavis perspective obviously is far and away won the vote because I think we're on the Pavis perspective. So and the 50th episode special with George singing. So tune in for that next week. I can't guarantee that's going to happen. Right, score predictions then, George, for the 2 games, and we'll get your thoughts in the chat. We'll put those up as well. We'll go Halifax first.
3-2 knots.
What? 2-0 down and down to 10 men.
Yeah. No, I'm going to go 2-1 knots. I think Halifax will score because the run has to come to an end, but I do think we're going to win. I'm going to say Langstaff to score, get his first away goal, and Austin. For Solihull,
yeah,
I'm going to go 1-0 knots. Scott.
I'm going to go Halifax 2-1 as well. And I think we're going to see Langstaff and Ruben. And then for Solihull, I'm going to go 2-1 knots. And we're going to say a Scott double. And that's going to be a second half Scott double. Imagine being sat here next week and there's 6 points out of 6. That would be absolutely brilliant.
I'll have a Scott.
It would be really, really brilliant. Yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying. Max said he likes the call-ins as well. I really enjoy doing the call-ins, but they weren't frequent enough to put it on the vote. Right, let's see what we've got. Max has Halifax 1, Notts 3, and Notts 2, Solihull 1. Andrew's got Notts 2-1 against Halifax, Langstaff and Bajrami. Yeah, I could see that. You've joined us in that 2-1. Ellie's gone 2-0 against Halifax. Andrew's gone 2-0 against Solihull. Langstaff double. Let's see what else. Mark, Halifax 0, Notts 2, Langstaff and Scott, and Notts 0, Solihull 0. I wouldn't be too disheartened with that because that would be 4 points from 6 and 2 clean sheets. So I won't be too disheartened with that. Ellie's gone Notts 3, Solihull 1. Chris has gone 2-1 for Notts against Halifax. Ian's gone 2-1, Scott and Langstaff. And then last one I'll put up, Shane has gone 3-1 against Halifax and 2-0 against Solihull. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting to see what you think.
Hold on.
Go on.
Callum's just put his in.
Yes, there we go. A bit nervous there, I nearly missed out on it.
Yeah.
Callum says Halifax 1, Notts 4, Chicks and hat-trick, and Mitchell. And 5-2 against Solihull, Chicks and hat-trick, Langstaff and Palmer. Of all the ones I've read out, I just like Callum because they're the most realistic.
Yeah, without that. 9 goals in 48 hours. It's not bad.
No, and that's the only reason I think people have voted for the Pavis perspective because of Callum's predictions. It is really good. Once again, on a Thursday evening, thank you for joining us. Really good, some really great interactions with everyone. We are going to be going to the Halifax game with a match day vlog, so keep an eye out for that one. Let's hope for a victory, and then quick turnaround for some more content after the Solihull game. As I've already said, if we can get 6 points from 6 or even 4, I think it's really, really good. And I think, that's something we should be pushing for. Let's all stay behind the team. And as always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.